Hello guys, I hope you are all doing well, and today I'm going to share with you my thoughts on journaling for the last year, setting 5 daily goals every day for the last 365 days. So I set around 6 daily goals per day. I started out with only 5, but then I increased sometimes to 10, sometimes to 8, sometimes to 3, but it was an average of around 6 daily goals per day, which means that for the last year I've accomplished around 2,190 daily goals, which is amazing. And only now that I did see how many daily goals I ticked off, like it's crazy, and it has changed my life. And the biggest thing that changed was that instead of just going through the motions, for the first time I became a goal-driven person. And that is the biggest change that I could make in my life in order to become one step closer to success every day. So basically, I am currently just finishing off my second notebook, setting daily goals. This is going to be my third one. And I want to share with you my experience on how it is going, how it has affected my life, as I said already a little bit in the beginning, and how you could do it and how it will change your life. So before setting out daily goals, I think that the big goal is to have a bigger vision, something that we want to do before setting 5 daily goals, because our 5 daily goals need to be in order to be one step closer every day to achieving that bigger goal. And that is why I also started planning my quarter, setting quarterly goals, and setting also yearly goals. And now every time I'm setting quarterly goals, so by the time I'm recording this, I've already set out the goals for the second quarter, and all of those goals come from this yearly goal planner, because I have 10 things I want to do, be, and have. And from those things, I understand, okay, what can I do this quarter to either achieve it or be closer to achieving it. So what I do is I go through all the do's, all the be's, all the haves, and I break them down into smaller chunks, in this case quarterly chunks, and then I set out the quarterly goals to then be the baseline for my daily goals. So if I want to backtest all the pairs for 2019, which was one of my goals for the first quarter of 2020, I knew that one of my daily goals should be always backtest at least 1 hour. And I gotta say, I've achieved that goal, and it truly just comes down to knowing what you have to do and just wanting to be one step closer every day and writing it down so it becomes physical. And that brings me to the first real benefit that you will see in your daily life, that bringing daily goals has, which is you become a lot more productive. This doesn't mean that sometimes you lose momentum or you lose motivation. Yes, it does happen. It has happened to me. But if you set out your daily goals for the next day and the night before, you wake up and you know what you have to do. You know that before you do anything else, you have these 5 things that you should do first. And that is my goal for this second quarter. So instead of sometimes losing momentum halfway through the morning, I know that, okay, I will achieve these daily goals, and then I will do something else, something that is easy to do, something like going and meeting my friends, something like that. And yeah, this just becomes the baseline of your life, and it just increases your productivity, because as I said, you know what you have to do, and that is just great. And a lot of people, myself included, before I started setting out daily goals, we just go through the motions during the day. We don't know what we have to do. We don't know what would bring us closer to our bigger goals. We don't normally have bigger goals when we are not goal driven. So that was a really big change, and I'm really happy for it. As I said, sometimes we can lose some momentum, and there were days that I didn't tick off all my daily goals, but we have to understand that sometimes you think that you aren't doing much, but that is when I normally go back to my yearly goals and my quarterly goals. And when I really look into it, I can start ticking off my quarterly goals and my yearly goals, and that just gives me a lot of momentum, and I just go back to the track that I was going through. So we can lose some momentum, but we keep on track because we know the road that we have to take in order to achieve the success that we want to achieve. And that is one of the greatest things, really. And if you are goal driven and you find yourself just losing a little bit of momentum, go back to your quarterly goals, go back to your yearly goals, and just see if you can tick any of them off, see if you are close to ticking any of them off. And that brings me to the next topic, which is that ticking off quarterly, yearly, and daily goals to give you a dopamine rush. It just feels really good when you go at the end of the day back to your notebook and you can tick off all the daily goals, or when you just simply achieve them and you can tick them off. It just feels so good, and it just brings a smile to my face. And most of us get a dopamine rush from, I don't know, getting a notification, getting some likes, getting something, and ticking off daily goals is like such a positive way of our body releasing dopamine, like being able to go back to your notebook and just boop. It just feels really good. And if you already set daily goals, I know that you feel the same way, and if you don't, please do, you will love it. One big thing that I do in my yearly goals and my quarterly goals is that I always have an explanation on why I want to achieve that goal, and what I want to get from having that explanation is to understand my vision on why I want to achieve that. And by reading it, I just get motivated, and it just keeps me back on track. So I have a 10 do, be, and have explanation. And in the quarterly goals, whatever goal I have in the quarter, I just write down an explanation in order to, if I am not doing something, I just go back, read it, and I know my vision, and I just go back onto track. I have these two books here because they have been the last two that I read, actually, and both of them talk about setting goals. And it's crazy, like every time we hear about someone that is a high performer or an expert in some area, they seem to have a lot of things in common, and one of them I've seen that is setting goals. And that also links to this book that talks about the hardships that people that went through concentration camps went. And he said that the people that went through it, that did survive, they had a bigger vision, something beyond the concentration camp that they wanted to achieve, and that made them go through all the hardships that it took in order to achieve the bigger goal that they had. So that comes down, it's very emphasized here on a quote that Nietzsche has, which is, "He who has a why to live for can bear with almost anyhow." And that just comes to show how vision, goals, and everything just helps you get through the hardships that it takes to achieve success. And one of the habits that this book has is seek clarity. And of course, if you want to have clarity on what you want to do, you can just set goals and then you have the vision, and that's why it all correlates with one another. And it's great to be able to see the psychological effects that goals have and actually read them. And that is a great shift in my mentality. That was a great shift in my mentality and still is. So I hope if you don't set daily goals that I maybe changed your mind to start doing it. If you already do, let me know in the comment section what is your biggest takeaway on setting daily goals. What was the biggest thing that changed in your life? And if you don't, but you are thinking of doing it, tell me also down below and tell me what the big goals that you want to achieve are. And I really recommend that you start or keep on going. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, subscribe, leave a like, and I will see you in the next one, guys. Bagus.